Hello and welcome back to 9-Inch Charge, where we are talking about dark magic in Warhammer the Old World. We're going to bring you a deep dive of the lore. We're going to go through every spell in the lore and the signature spell, give you our hot takes, let you know our thoughts and feelings about it, and where we think it would be most useful in the game. All right, dark magic, Tom. Once only a pure magic flowed into the world. Whole and unsullied, it was a natural force under the control of a race of godlike beings. With the coming of chaos, this was to change, as a darker, more unstable form of magic was unleashed onto the mortal realm, one which refused to be chained by the hand of any mere mortal. That's right, we're talking dark magic. Let's get straight in on the signature spell, which is Doombolt. A classic spell, Doombolt. It's back. It's a magic missile. It has a casting value of 8+ and a range of 24. Place the small 3-inch blast template so that its central hole is over the center of the target enemy unit. Any model whose base lies underneath the template risks being hit, as described on page 95, and suffers a single strength 3 hit of AP 2.
I really like that spell, Dan. You could do a lot of hits to a unit and probably kill off quite a lot of models with that as well. You know, if you drop that in the middle of Empire Swordsman or Spearman, no armor, save strength 3 hit on a 4+, they're dead. Get out, son.
Yeah, it's what's also great about it is that you get a lot of these magical vortexes, don't you, in these spell laws that use a template and then they scatter off. But this is a magic missile, so it's like you just fire it and it explodes into this template and just kills everyone underneath it.
Yeah.
And a casting value of 8 is great. It's quite cheap to cast, really, for the effect that it's going to do. I was going to say slightly situational, but only if you've got, if we're talking about the old world meta of having your unit kind of strung out in one line, won't do as much as something against something that's in a block. But having said that, I think it's a very effective spell. The AP of 2 is great, isn't it?
Yeah, for a signature spell, I think it's really good.
Yeah. All right, so the first spell is Word of Pain. This is a hex spell with a casting value of 10+ and a range of 18 inches. Until your next start of turn subphase, the target enemy unit suffers a -1 modifier to its strength and toughness characteristics. This spell may target an enemy unit engaged in combat.
I like it. I got really excited about the other spell that gives me +1 and to strength and toughness. So I dig this as well.
Is that the one from Demonology you're talking about?
Yeah, the one from Demonology. So if I know I'm going to get charged, if I slap this on a model, on a unit, it makes that charge a lot less appealing because suddenly you can be strength 3 going down to like strength 2, and then it's all the more difficult to wound me.
Yeah, I think it's it's a very good spell. Like you said, it makes it difficult for them to wound you. It makes it more easy for you to wound them. It will definitely turn the combat around. 18 inches is a good range for this spell. It's a very long hex. A lot of them you've got to get, up close, and it's going to take you a couple of turns potentially before you're able to use really good hex spells. Word of Pain's got a very big range. It is difficult to cast though on a 10. If we say average dice roll is a 7, you're going to want a level 3 or 4 caster to guarantee that you're going to get this spell off, and even then you may not. So not for the faint-hearted, not for your level 1s and 2s, but a level 3 or 4 caster will help you with this. And yeah, very good hex spell with a good range. Next is Stream of Corruption. This is an assailment spell, and the casting value is 8+, and the range is combat. Place a flame template so the narrow end touches the caster's base edge and the broad edge is over the unit they're engaged in combat with. Any model, friend or foe, whose base lies underneath the template risks being hit, as described on page 95, and suffering a single strength 3 hit with an AP of -1.
I love that. If you're lucky enough to catch a marching column with its pants down and you fire this off over it. Your wizard's paid for itself straight away. That would be excellent.
Or a lance formation, even, because the
Lance,
AP of -1 takes those Bretonian knights. If they're knights of the realm, it takes a 3-up save to a 4-up save, so 50% chance of killing anything you wound. I think it's a really good assailment spell, if I'm honest. Because if we look at, for example, Hammer Hands from Battle Magic, although it's easier to cast, you're only doing is it D3 plus 1 or 2d3 hits, is it?
Yeah, 2d3.
You're only doing 2d3 hits there. And here, the potential of the template is to capture a lot of units. Yeah, I think this is a great assailment spell. This is really good. And it's just fun, isn't it, to have it? It says here, from the fingertips of the dark mage, corrupted magic flows, flaying the flesh of the enemy. But it's almost pretty much like giving him like a dragon's breath, isn't it?
Yeah,
Let's be honest. So yeah, very cool spell, Stream of Corruption. And again, I guess with Doombolt, the only thing I would say is it's again more useful against your horde armies, against units that have got armies that have got big units. Because if you've got a spell that does like 2d6 hits, say, or you've got a template, if you're attacking one model, you're going to want the 2d6 hits.
Yeah.
But if you're attacking a big unit, you're going to want the template. So this lore, these couple spells, we're getting excited about them, but they are geared towards fighting enemies who who have mass ranks. Your big units of goblins. It's going to annihilate a big unit of goblins.
Oh yeah, every day. Yeah, that would be glorious to watch.
Okay,
and the thing is, man, there's the potential for overspill out of the combat as well, isn't there? So if there's a lovely unit parked behind it, you can catch some of them.
Yeah, good point. Next is Infernal Gateway. This is a conveyance spell with a casting value of 10+ and a range of 12. This spell can only target friendly characters, but may target characters engaged in combat. If the target friendly character is not fleeing, you may immediately remove it from the battlefield and replace it anywhere within 12 inches of its original location, but not within 6 inches of any models. Note that this spell allows a character to leave combat.
I just imagine a Beastman wizard doing this. It's just like, this combat's gone south. I'm going to run away now. And then just like blinks himself out of combat.
I think there's a lot of use for this, not just removing your characters from combat, but actually getting them into position that you want them to have. If you've got a character that's got like a good move or is a bit of a threat or would be a danger to your enemy's flanks, you can move it round the back of a unit. So the range is 12 inches, then it can go 12 inches from its original location. So you can move that model, somewhere that it wouldn't ordinarily be able to get, and then start causing some problems. So actually now they've gone from in front of a unit to the flank of the unit, and then next turn you're causing all kinds of problems. And your opponent's thinking, are they going to have to turn around? What are they going to have to do? Bearing in mind it doesn't just say friendly characters on foot; it's just any friendly character.
Yeah, I think the must remain 6 inches away from an enemy model might limit how useful it is a bit. But someone a lot smarter than me and a lot better at the game will figure out a way to really get one in on that.
Not just use it to run away.
Yeah, I would just be like, yeah, I don't want my wizard to die here. He's running away.
Especially if you're wizard general, for example.
Yeah.
Would be really useful.
Or if your BSB's about to get killed and you want to save the 50 points.
Yeah. That would be very annoying. Yeah, points denial when your opponent looks like they're going to get a clutch kill in. Yeah, that is useful. And actually, in a game where actually we're playing for those victory points, that actually, Tom, I think that's a really good point. Yeah. All right, wish me luck with this next one. Even pronouncing this next spell. This is Fantasia Morgia. Phantasmagoria. Sorry, I've just butchered that, but whoever came, this is
Phantasmagoria.
supercalifragilistic phantasmagoria. Yeah, this is what we're on. It's a magical vortex.
This is spell number 4. That's what you need to call it.
Yeah, this is spell number 4. It's a magical vortex. It has a casting value of 9+ and a range of 12. It's a remains in play spell. Place the small 3-inch blast template so that the central hole is within 12 inches of the caster. Whilst in play, the template does not move and is treated as dangerous terrain. Enemy units that end their movement within 12 inches of the template must immediately take a panic test. Those who fail will fall back in good order or flee directly away from the template. Those that passed or do not have to make a test become subject to the impetuous special rule whilst they remain within 12 inches of the template. This is quite a complicated spell, isn't it? If we're honest, looking at how it works and how it could work, there's a lot of different things it could do. It could make a unit flee. It could make it fall back in good order. It can make it impetuous. You're going to be back and forward in that rule book quite a lot, trying to find out what it does and how that affects your unit. I would say that it's got a really good effective range because it's 12 inches away. Then it's a 3-inch small blast. And then it's enemy units that end their movement within 12 inches of the template. So that is a 15-inch circle you're putting in the middle of the table. And then anybody who has to cross that line, when they finish their move or end their movement, whatever their movement may be there, they have to immediately take that panic test. Now, the thing about spells that make you take leadership test or panic test is that if your opponent is smart, they will have their BSB, they will have their, inspiring presence, meaning that they can effectively negate this spell if you get it off, because they're pretty likely with their reroll, with their inspiring presence, to be able to pass that leadership test. But if they do pass it, there's still a negative effect here because they become impetuous, which means that when we're in the charging subphase, on a 1 to they roll a dice on the 1 to 3, they have to charge, and on a 4+ they act as normal. So even if they do pass and they don't fall back in good order or flee, on a 1 to 3 in their next turn, they are going to have to charge. So I think this spell is going to be you're going to have to use it in conjunction with some bait. So you're going to want to fly up something or move up a chaff unit that is kind of askew, then cast this spell, and then if they panic or fall back, good. If they don't, then in their next turn, you're going to want to make them make that charge and then expose their flank. It's quite difficult to get your head around, almost as difficult as it is to pronounce, I would say. I do think that it is a good spell because it's going to make your opponent really think. And, for example, if you're playing a scenario with a watchtower in the middle of the table and you're going to have to get through to the middle of the table and you're going to want to get there for those points, that's a really big kind of area denial, causes you all kinds of problems kind of spell. So yeah, I do like it, but it is complicated. Let's get that straight. And I think best used with a unit to bait. Okay.
So I think from my experience of 8th edition, the game was kind of won or lost in the movement phase and any way to disrupt someone's battle line. So great, you've got this kind of powerful unit, but it takes your whole army to make it work. Well, fine, charge it D6 inches forward, and then my entire army is going to charge it because I've zoned you properly and take it out in one turn. And then I'll pick the rest of it apart. Brilliant. How good is that for a 9+ and a 12-inch range? I'll take that every day.
But there is a chance it will do nothing because you'll pass your test and then you're on the 4+, you'll roll a 4, 5, or 6.
There is a chance, but so as you said, it makes you think, doesn't it? Kind of.
I think it's overcomplicated.
This is the most complicated spell we've come across so far.
Yeah, I think it's overcomplicated, if I'm honest, because you go through all this rigmarole, you have to take your panic test, then you become impetuous, and ultimately it might do nothing. So I do think it's good.
Yeah,
but I think it's overcomplicated.
If you were that guy, you could slow roll someone with this spell, couldn't you? Oh no, there's 10 minutes left of the game. I just got to cast this. You do your panic test. Oh look, I won.
Yeah. Good for that.
You could be that guy. Don't be that guy.
All right. Spell number 5, Battle Lust, is an enchantment with a casting value of 9+ and a range of 12. Until the end of this turn, the target friendly unit gains the frenzy and hatred of all enemies special rules.
2 minds. Like, I think that could be really good, or you could get baited quite bad with that.
So there are some things to talk about with this spell. Frenzy has changed how it works. So you still get your +1 attack, but if you can charge, you have to charge now. You don't roll on a leadership to see. You just go straight into combat. And hatred is re-rolling, so it makes you a beast in combat, and is a good spell if you know what you want to charge into.
Yeah,
because otherwise you might get yourself redirected. So yeah, cast it if you're already in combat. Let's go. +1 attack.
If you're going to charge as well, you cast it before your charge phase, don't you? So you may as well go in.
Yeah.
And the frenzy bubble has like reduced dramatically, hasn't it now? Because it used to be like a standard infantry, it was 16 inches, and now it's 10.
What's the bubble?
So you can't declare a charge on anything you can't complete the charge on, can you? So
right, yeah.
It used to be you could sit something 16 inches away and go, okay, come. You have to start taking leaderships. Now it's you have to be really up close and personal with it to play that kind of game.
Yeah, that's true. Also, frenzy also makes you immune to psychology. So if you are going to go up against something that causes fear or terror, you might want to cast Battle Lust because then you don't mind.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I was going to say the wording is only if the majority of the unit have it. So in this case, they will all have it. If you had a character with it, they wouldn't be immune.
Okay.
And the hatred is mega.
Yeah.
In a game of winning that first round of combat, hatred's always going to be big.
Yeah, I like this. +1 attack and re-roll all your hits is brilliant, especially if you've got a unit with weight of attacks. It's not going to be so good if you've got low initiative and you've been charged and you're not going to be able to strike back. So there is that element to it as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And spell number 6 is Soul Eater. Soul Eater is an ensailment spell with a casting value of 7+, and its range is combat. A single enemy model the caster is engaged in combat with suffers a single strength 3 hit with a multiple wounds 3 special rule, and no armor save permitted. Ward and regeneration saves can be attempted as normal.
For a 7+, I love that spell. Or sniping your BSB, thank you very much. If I'm in combat with it, I'll take you off the table. That's brilliant. That's really good.
Yeah, again, situational though, because you may end up just in a horde of goblins and with no heroes or characters in there, and you're just like, well, I'll kill one goblin.
But the game's always going to come down to your mage bunker with your hero against somebody else's mage bunker and their hero, and like from reading the rules, I think you're going to see a lot more lone characters in the game. So if you take like the Duke, for instance, he's charged into your mage bunker, and before anything happens, okay, I'll chance 3 strength 3 hits with multiple wounds 3. Could take him out. You could take him out for dinner for all I care, but he might go down.
All right, Tom, what do you think about dark magic?
There's some really cool stuff. I like the amount of horde clearance in here and the area of effect spells. I probably, if I was going to take Horde magic, Dark magic, I'll be looking at all of these template spells and having a bit of each.
It's on the whole more difficult to cast. There's a couple 10 pluses, there's a couple 9 pluses.
Yeah.
Soul Eater is a 7 plus, Doombolt is an 8 plus. So I would say it's kind of an intermediate school of magic.
My worry is, Dan,
erring on levels 3s and 4s.
We've not seen one that's in like massively level 2 friendly.
So far in the series, Battle Magic is the one, isn't it? All right. So what are your picks, Tom? Your lore familiar. What 4 are you choosing?
Doombolt. That's for sure. Do I want to take Phantasmagoria? This is the one I definitely have to think about the most. That's for sure. So Doombolt, Soul Eater, Stream of Corruption, and Phantasmagoria. Signature 2, 4, and 6.
I'm going to disagree with you. I want to get Word of Pain in there because I think it's a really good debuff with a long 18-inch range, -1 strength and toughness. So I'm going to go for Doombolt as well. I'm going to go for a Stream of Corruption as well. I'm going to go for Phantasmagoria because I want to try it. Although probably I might choose Battle Lust instead. But I'll go for Phantasmagoria and Word of Pain. Because I want that debuff. So I'll probably regret not taking Soul Eater. I think your choice is might be a bit better, but I think, to be honest with you, you could roll up. This is the lore so far that you could roll up and you could just be happy with all your choices.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think there's not a bad spell here. There's nothing like we've seen in Demonology where we think, oh my goodness, like this is going to completely change the game. That are kind of they're not overpowered, but they're all really good and really useful.
So it reminds me of like how a Beastman Horde would work. None of it's working together. None of these spells are designed to be like cohesive. It's just like, let's just mess something up as quickly as possible and get out.
Yeah, I think this is a really solid lore. I think this is, like I said, there's not one spell in here. We've looked at other spell laws and we've gone, don't really know what I'd do with that. There are better options. I wouldn't be taking that spell if I can help it. I'll be swapping that one out. I don't actually think there's a spell here that is bad. So I think this is one of the best laws, although nothing is completely stand out. With the exception of maybe, like I said, the template kind of stuff. I think the template stuff is good. But let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think of spell number 4. Let us know how to pronounce it. And we will catch you next time where we will be talking about another law of magic.
Elementalism.
Ooh. Okay. Thanks, guys. Take care.